Hello there, and welcome back to the Mountain Morning Show. We are joined by Chrisella with WhiteHat Magazine. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Great. It's great to be back here.
I am so pleased to have you here. We were just chatting before we went on air. How impressed I am by what Chrisella here has done in the world of getting people more aware and informed of what's happening out there, especially from a woman's perspective, and some of these programs that you're initiating that help entrepreneurs in general. So welcome back.
Thank you.
Pleasure to
It's
have
great
you
to be
here.
here.
And let's chat for a moment about really the mission and vision of what WhiteHat Magazine is about.
Yeah. So WhiteHat Magazine we're a digital news organization. We report through a website, digital magazine, and multimedia, videos, podcasts. And our mission is to cover technology and science and how that's changing people's lives around the world. And we got started in this because I was watching technology coverage, and I saw there was a lot of reporting about the business side of things, like who got bought, who sold, who IPO'd, that sort of thing. And then there's a lot of gadget reviews. But there was nothing talking about, okay, what does it mean when you put a computer in the hands of somebody who's in a developing country? Or what does it mean to somebody that a frontline health worker in a rural area can access their medical records on an iPad? What are the socioeconomic impacts? What are some of the political impacts even of this? There wasn't a lot of analysis about that. And so that's what we're trying to bring attention to, is what these effects are. And we're especially trying to bring a voice to people who don't usually get recognized in the technology industry. Women are one of our big focuses, as well as minorities and people of color.
Wow, that's incredible. That was such a huge mission. That's a lot.
It is a lot.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
And your magazine is how old now? About
we launched our first edition in January.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, so exciting. And you, congratulations, just recently were named a winner in the American Small Business Championship.
Yes.
That's a national competition for U.S. small businesses, and that was presented by Sam's Club and also the SCORE Foundation. So what does that mean for you guys to be recognized like that?
Well, it's incredible. We're so excited about this. 102 businesses from across the U.S. were recognized. We were the only company from Utah, actually.
Wow.
So
way to represent. Good work.
Thanks. So the SCORE Foundation is a fantastic organization. They provide mentorship to small businesses who are, just trying to get their feet under them, and they do it all for free. And so part of this award is that we get, a year of one-on-one mentorship. They really get to focus on what our goals are and help us get to that next point. And they also flew us to Phoenix for a day of training, and I learned so much from it. It was great. Great experience.
Wonderful. Yeah. That's so great. And then along with that, you have some wonderful programs too, of which we're going to chat about this morning in particular. Bosses Who Brunch. It's a podcast. What's this idea about?
Yeah. So Bosses Who Brunch it's a podcast. It's also a monthly event series. We are holding our first networking brunch in Draper on May 21st. And at the same time, we're going to launch a podcast where we sit down with entrepreneurs, innovators, people who have created something cool, and talk to them about what their journey has been like, what some of the challenges are that they've faced, and how they've gotten past that. Because we hear a lot about, oh, there's this great entrepreneur and look at all the success he's had, but you don't always hear about, what are some of the challenges that they faced getting to that point. An overnight success usually takes a couple of years to happen. And so what happened in those couple of years? Wow. And we really want to feature women entrepreneurs, people of color, people who don't get this attention again, and see if we can highlight their stories.
Wow, that's exciting. So when you say, the challenges that they've dealt with, kind of digging into some of those issues that it might be hard. It's hard to talk about, right? Because we want to talk about the successes, right? Even with WhiteHat Magazine, you were just saying that it is a process, and it's very real to go through those challenges. And I think what's beautiful about this concept is that you realize that you're not alone in those lows. That so many people, when they're trying to create something that benefits their community or help their family, even if it's just their income, there is a process, and that's part of what you guys are kind of bringing to light with this. I love that.
Yeah, and I think for women entrepreneurs and for people of color who are starting businesses, that it can be even more lonely. For example, women-led businesses get 5% of the venture funding that happens in a general period, and for businesses that are started by an African American woman, it's even worse. It's like 0.1% of the venture capital funding. And so the challenges for them can be even more difficult, and it can be even more lonely. And so we really want to provide a space where people can say, hey, you know, this was tough for me. It wasn't always easy. And so so people can feel like, oh, I'm not an overnight success yet, but that's okay. I still need to keep working towards that goal.
I'm curious about, so the numbers, why do you think that is the case? And can you kind of explain the idea that, I think it's a given that most businesses are dominated by men, and you have less people of color that are looking to start a business. Is that true?
How does that? Well, actually, for women entrepreneurs, there are more small businesses in the U.S. started by women entrepreneurs,
yes, for women.
than by men. I'm not sure about the numbers on women of color specifically.
But all the same, why do you think the numbers are so low?
I think it's because venture capitalists, when they are investing in a company, and I've talked to a few about them and asked why this is, they tend to invest in somebody who is like them. If they can see themselves in an entrepreneur, then they feel more comfortable with that investment. And that is something that, you know, that they have to be aware of. It's one of those ingrained biases. And so there's a few movements going on right now trying to get more women venture capitalists, more women angels involved in the process, and, you know, out there talking to businesses. And so those are some really great some really great organizations that we want to talk to as well.
Excellent. That's so wonderful. And then this next one, we have the Social Entrepreneurship Fellowship Program. Tell me about it.
That one we're still working on getting going. We're looking for partners to help us get that off the ground. But what we want to do with that is identify a business or an entrepreneur who's working in the social impact field, so something like a benefit corporation, even though I think that may just be a structure in the U.S. right now. So a benefit corporation, social entrepreneurship, a for-profit model, but is still focused on doing good and having an impact in their community. And then we're going to identify one of these companies from 8 geographic regions from around the world. And we want to bring them together for a year, have them write about their company for the magazine, connect them with mentors, connect them with resources for investment that might be here in the U.S. or abroad, and just help to build up this community of people to identify, you know, who's making change on the ground in the areas that they live in.
Wow. That is, I love how your sites are so beautifully high. It really is. No, I mean, this started from just you, this concept, and there's like 2 of you working on this now, and now you have all these great programs, and the ideas moving forward with this are very exciting, because there's people out there that need this.
Oh yeah,
they need this.
Yeah, and there's so many cool things happening that just that people aren't aware of. And so, you know, people might be like, oh, you know, there are things that are terrible in the world, and there's so much bad news happening, and we want, you know, but there are really good things happening, and there are people who are really working towards making some fantastic change in the world, and we want to be able to tell those stories.
Oh, I love that. So with the fellowship program, when do you expect us to be able to get more information about that? When are things going to start coming together for that, do you think?
Well, like I said, we're looking for partners and trying to you know, make sure we have some good backing behind that. And
so if we want to work with you more on that, we can get in touch with you?
Yes, absolutely. They can go to our website, whitehatmag.com, and our contact information is on there. And you know, if people want to get in touch with us, we'd love to talk with anybody about getting involved with
this. And then the Bosses Who Brunch.
Yes.
The first one coming up, or the one coming up we have is when?
May 21st.
May 21st.
Yes.
You have to like register? Can you just show up?
No, the tickets are limited, but you can check that out on our website as well, and get tickets right there and find out more information about it.
Cool. And before I let you go, I did want to ask a little about some of the themes that you cover in your magazine. What are some of the topics and the areas, the headlines, I guess, that you've been putting in your magazine that you've been addressing?
When I sat down and thought about the mission, we divided up our focus into 4 areas. There's women and minorities in business, social entrepreneurship, and then policy and politics in technology. So if you get something like the net neutrality debate, or there's discussions going on internationally about regulation of the internet, and how you know, if there should be an international body or governance body in charge of that. So that's a topic we want to look at. And then technology and its social impact globally. In science as well, of course. I say technology, but of course science is included in that too. So those are our 4 broad areas. Our first edition was focused on climate change and technology that's changing that. I actually got accredited to go to the COP21 climate negotiation in Paris. Was only one of like 3,000 journalists that was allowed in.
That is so great.
It was really exciting.
Oh my gosh, what a neat experience.
That's
and it was phenomenal.
It was incredibly busy.
Wow.
I was running around like the entire time. Barely got to see any of Paris, but you know,
you were in Paris.
I was there. So, and the negotiations were amazing. And so our first edition covers that. And what we found is that we really think the next wave of innovation and investment is going to be in clean energy technology. Bill Gates is leading this. He's promised that he's brought together this consortium of tech investors who are dedicated to investing more money in clean technology and really building the capacity up in that and funding people who want to take risks in clean energy technology who may not have that capacity otherwise. So. Yeah.
Wow, as I said, so many great things going on, and we can find you online at WhiteHatMag.com.
WhiteHatMag.com.
This is true. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good luck moving forward. I'm so excited to see where you guys go with this.
Thank you.
It's thrilling, and I love the service that it provides to those that not only are up and coming entrepreneurs, but people like myself that don't have the guts yet to start a company, a business, but to inspire you to be like, hey, this is going on out there. These conversations are happening, and you're creating a kind of a space.
Yeah,
to have
we
those.
really want to encourage more entrepreneurship out there too.
Very good. Yeah. Well, Chrisella, thank you very much.
Thank you, Chelsea.
Nice to have you here. We'll be right back after this commercial break, and when we do, it's Habitat for Humanity.